And up next, it's the Battle of the Geordies. Steve Raw up against Graeme Stoddart. And after that, we'll be showing you the two games that took place this year. So all of these matches are absolutely essential. All the top players are here. And as you can see, we've mentioned the atmosphere already. But to say about nerves in approaching these players as they come along, the crowd will them on perhaps, but really it's got to be so nerve-wracking. Despite the amount of practice you might have put in for this World Championship, all the players feel it when they walk up on the stage. So let's get down there again with your MC, Phil Chance.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Circus Tavern for the last of our afternoon matches on the first day of the first round of the Skull World Darts Championship. Introducing a Northeast derby here in Purfleet, Essex, from Bishop Auckland, Steve Raw, and from Newcastle, the Geordie boy, Graeme Stoddart!
Well, it may be a blur of noise for both the players they get on, but it didn't seem to affect Graeme Stoddart, even having time to have fun with the crowd. But now the smiles, I'm sure, will simmer down as he gets up to the oche. Let's go to our commentators once again, of Dave Lanning and Sid Waddell.
So there we have Graeme Stoddart making a spectacle of himself as we bid to find out who will be the top ton-up boy from the Toon Army, the unofficial championship of Newcastle. There's Graeme Stoddart. There's his file of facts of form. As you can see, 39 years old, ranking 14, and the quarter-finalist in the Grand Prix is his best ever on Sky.
I would just like to say that them eyes, the specs were exaggerating them. He has not been celebrating Christmas up in the Toon how much study, man of moderation. Nor has the Bishop Auckland kids, Steve Raw, and I'm sorry about this, lads, because guess whose magic fingers put this one out the bingo bag? Me. 3 weeks ago in Sky Studios, I pulled out the old Geordie clash. Sorry, lads, but I bet it's a belter, Dave.
Yes, of course, it's still the best of 5 sets, 5 legs to a set. 501 they must score, subtract their scores, and they must finish on a double. Steve Raw throwing a 22-gram silver shadow.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
first
his
set,
sixth
leg,
world final.
Graeme to throw. Game on, please.
And it's Graeme Stoddart with the first darts in this first round match.
Here he is, Stoddy. He used to be known as the Fish around Newcastle because he used to sell dodgy winkles and dodgy cod along the quayside from a basket. Does not purvey dodgy darts, neither of them do. Very distinctive style of Raw.
100.
Nearly off for the max. Yeah. This could be an absolute belter. It's best of 5 sets. Stoddy right in the groove.
81.
Father used to play for Newcastle United back in the glory days. And, ooh, come on, blistering row around that 60.
140.
Blocks the beds, comes for cover, treble 19. Stoddart actually used to be in the Dutch darts team, Dutch national
58.
team. Those Geordies get about like. There's that very distinctive style of row.
100.
And Kid Della just slipped in. He's been practicing with row and he had 8 180s.
140.
Just over 15 minutes on the practice boards.
Steve, you require 121.
Which I think you can see the fruit of now around the 60. That's treble 17. Decides not to go for it because he's in such good form on the 60.
So Steve Raw in a position to command this first leg. And remember, it's against the throw.
$145. Steve, you require 62.
So 62, he'll look at treble 10. And now double 8, 16 remaining.
46. Graeme, you require 41.
Stoddart looking for 9 double 16.
And now double 8.
33. Steve, you require 16.
And so Steve Raw looking at double 8 for the first leg. And the concentration on, and he takes that, so Raw takes that first leg against the throw.
Second leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
So an encouraging start from Steve Raw.
85.
And throwing steadily away.
Good palsies too. But up there, near quarter given, not like that.
43.
And
well, we've got some wonderful shots in the crowd there. There's a few Christmas presents on parade there, Sid.
And there'll be Christmas presents right through to January the 3rd for the final.
45. $100.
Full house here. Here's the... And there's very little wibble at the apex there. Just weeps gently, but... So
95.
the player has to throw with a certain amount of conscious velocity, but it is amazing what happens when gravity takes over about 2 feet from the board.
Sky Sports bringing you the appliance of science.
80.
That's the 5 sets. See that beautifully relaxed motion of the slightly shorter dart. And, well, he is pulverizing the 60.
135.
Much more open wrist movement. Sort of less of a follow through raw.
93. Steve, you require 141.
So Steve Raw looking for a 2-love advantage here. Needed the treble with the first dart.
And maybe, Dave, some of the
59.
Aussies, some of the British batsmen ought to look at some of this spin to analyse what the Aussies are doing with the ball.
And Graeme Stoddart here, who one would have thought just had the
76.
edge in this battle of
Steve, you
Newcastle.
require 82.
And just a little bit of early bother here. Steve Raw looking at 82, should go for the ball first dart. Well, he needed the big 17 there. That's a bad miss from
42.
Raw. Stoddart on
Graeme, you require
109.
109.
20, treble 20. Should be the first dart. No, he's got to hit treble 19. should be treble 18 now. Oh, just on the wire.
57. Steve, you require 40.
This for 2-0 then. Tops 2 10s. Double 5, shooting a bit fast.
Game show.
But true.
Steve Roy. Third leg, Graeme to throw first.
And Stoddart needs this leg to stay alive in this first set. His 6 World Championships, he's never been beyond the quarterfinals. 16th overall in the average, he's averaging 27.55. He's hit 21.180, so he knows where the target is. Steve Raw here is 23rd overall in the averages in World Championship finals, 27.28 his average, but he's looking steady here. 2 up, just needing this leg for the first set.
And to be fairly brutal, Stoddart,
43.
they both lack the highest consistency at the highest level. And maybe because Stoddart tracks the world playing for championship points, Steve not that, in a way,
41.
dedicated to the circuit. And Stoddart actually, in my view, sometimes actually puts more lob into the dart than he should. Doesn't seem always in control
81.
of the last few inches of the flight path.
Well, we've heard of the Durham Light Infantry. This is the
59.
Durham Heavy Artillery. 2 smashing tune lads. Sid, from your part of the world, you must be...
Why, man, I cannot understand a word they say sometimes when we're standing over a drink talking about the football.
100.
Yes, they're both very, very enthusiastic Newcastle United followers. In fact, earlier this afternoon, Graeme Stoddart was dodging out to get the score.
108.
So they come far from all over the world to Essex this time of year. The wise guys went to Bethlehem. Wise heads come to Purfleet.
That's a maximum
83.
180, and Stephen Raw really
Stevie
has established the early pace here.
136.
136 is a possibility. He needs a treble first dart.
He is a phenomenal 180 thrower, this lad.
41.
Didn't surprise me that Keith Della said.
Graeme require
Just been
102.
blistering in practice on the maximums. Has Raw.
Should go for the
Bull.
ball now to leave double 16. 17 should be his next shot.
62. Steve, you require 95.
Well, the old Gwyn syndrome there here. Sid should go for the ball here. Yes.
Yep. This for the set. Tops.
75.
Well, we've got the 5 for the second
Graeme
dart. Now
requires
Stoddart with a
40.
chance to stay alive in the first set. Needs double top. Big dart for the man they call the fish. Will the shark strike here?
Game show in the third leg.
Well, Fish would have been gutted if he'd missed that one.
Well, there it is again. You
Fourth
can see
leg,
there
Steve to throw
a
first.
confident enough
Game
finish,
on.
but Raw has the darts here in the 4th leg. Just needs to defend his throw. He will take the first set now. He's got to come away from that one.
59.
Dart just hanging on. The rule says as long as the point is in the target at the moment of retrieval, it still scores. So he had to keep away, because had he stayed on 22, he may well have dislodged the dart that was already there.
140.
Very unusual contrast here in how they sight the dart. Steve takes it to the line of his eye and slightly adjusts his arm angle. As you see that Stoddart almost does a Uriah Heep stoop into the... It's an unusual style because the eye line is lowered. Means he's got much more to do with the actual travelling metal.
81.
Yes, he gets heap big scores. And just looking at the early averages, although Steve Raw is in front, in fact he's trailing 77.5 against 80.52, which just goes to show
66.
sometimes the facts don't actually tell the true story. The checkouts are almost identical, 28 against 25%. So they're very evenly matched, these two Geordies.
140.
Yeah, Stoddart, you would have fancied with this in terms of battling against the big lads around the world.
26.
But
Graeme, you require
once
140.
Stevie Rowe gets his scoring going, he's some competitor.
Had a good Grand Prix, this man, Graeme Stoddart. Was looking good, but then ran into Rod Harrington, you remember, Sid. Steve Raw, we have waited and waited for the big breakthrough. We've seen it in the past from Dennis Priestley, from Phil Taylor, from Keith Deller, indeed. Just hasn't managed to find
83.
that extra edge of
Graeme,
performance.
you require 80.
60 for 2 10s. Another 20. Topsy once.
40.
He has got time on his side because Raw unable to finish on 209. So Graeme Stoddart, who went 2 down, in with a very real
97.
chance with this next throw of
Graeme,
levelling
you
up this
require
first set.
40.
Double top.
Game showing the fourth
confident.
leg. Graeme Stoddart.
All square.
Fifth leg. Graeme to throw first. Game on, please.
So Graeme Stoddart here, who had an inauspicious start, lost the first 2 legs, has won the last 2, and now he has to throw here, Sid. So he may well be just thinking, I've weathered the early storm, and a great, prodigious start here might set him up.
He's often a slowish start there, Stoddy, because of his sort of lobbing style and that crouch forward. Takes him longer to get used to certain boards and conditions. So this, I think, could go all the way, this. So it's Stoddy's all-round game against the phenomenal but occasionally patchy scoring power of Steve.
Well, he came down looking for treble 19, and it has to be said,
58.
he was a good bit off target.
Lovely adjustment to the 60.
81.
Well, we've got a heaving crowd here already at the Circus Tavern, the mecca of marksmanship, and a big evening ahead. Rod Harrington, the world ranked #1, on parade. Shane Burgess, the Bulldog, on parade. Peter Everson, former world match play champion, and the living legend Eric Bristow against Peter Manley. What a tasty morsel that is, Sydney.
Absolutely.
60.
So if it's a bit early to start drinking for Hogmanay and a bit early to get on the pantomime, come to the Circus Tavern or switch on your set on Sky and watch the best players in the world do their remarkable arithmetical ballistics for the top prize in the world.
Yes, you'll get no pantomime at darts, but you'll get bags of theatre.
27.
They travel the world and the UK, playing against the best in Barnsley, the best in Billericay, or the best in Bangalore.
80.
Sometimes they get beat.
Graeme, you require 170.
The universal democracy of tungsten.
The top shot, Sid, 170, needs 2 treble 20s. Disillusion. No.
Did Dave say theatre, or did he say theatre? Here we are poised. Anybody's up and set.
Steve, you require 140.
So it's going to be a tight finish here. Raw on 140. Should still stay there, but the double finish has now eluded him. Stoddart
60.
looks at 70 to come back
Graeme,
and take this set.
70.
70 to shoot. Single 20 for double tops. You know what he wants. And he's got it!
Shot in the
You
first
can't
set.
be digital when you do this kind of digital. Accuracy from Stoddart. Didn't look like taking the first set in the opening, but he did. What a game between the two Geordies. 1-0 to Stoddy. As the countdown starts to Hogmanay, which was Geordies take 5th. very serious, nearly as serious as the jocks. We've got a real roistering match going on here
second set,
between
first leg,
two proud
Steve
sons of Geordie land. Stevie Rowe from up West Durham, where some of the coal seams used to be too thin for even a snake to go down.
100.
From the banks of the Tyne, from Biker, Graeme Stoddart, one of the finest darters to come out of the Toon ever.
Yes, it's the best of 5-1. We remind you, Stoddart went 2 down in the first set, then came back to win the last 3 legs. Steve Raw has hit a maximum 180, but Stoddart is just edging ahead on average. He's just averaging a bit over 80 against Raw 78, and he has a much better checkout percentage, 42.86. So it's an even. We knew this was going to be evenly matched. A lot of pride out, a lot of Toon pride out there, Sydney.
That's right. Toon Looney is Stoddy.
78.
I don't know many bits of his wardrobe that's not black and white. This lad is a tremendous 60 to 180 hitter. That's what's going to keep him in against Graeme.
40.
I suggest here that Stoddy's got the better all-round game. If Steve's scoring is at his very highest, he could win. But we saw some of the factors.
125.
Didn't look himself in the opening 2 legs of the opening sets.
Well, Raw could finish here, Sid. 136, not on now. 116, he'll stay there. Should come across. Oh, well, stayed where he was, and Stoddart unable to finish there in a party spirit here at the circus. The jesters are in the audience. The kings are on the stage. Now, Stoddart there has got 120. Well, he could stay there, really. But it might come for treble 17. Yes, should stay there.
180.
Just as a reminder.
Stevie requires
and now
76.
the pressure is on Raw to hit this 76. Now 16 remaining, double 8. Double 4. Yes.
Nice shot in the first leg.
Held his nerve. There it is again.
Second leg, Graeme to throw first.
Showing you what he's made of now is Stevie Raw. It's the best of 5 sets.
140.
Can he marker that? Next one comes in and over. This one almost certainly.
60.
That won't do. Might sound a bit cruel, folks. He's got to score more consistently against Stoddart, I think.
43.
Could do without that one. Risk the cover. Almost certain to hit the flights. 6 slack darts by his standards, Raw.
There's clean-cut quality about Graeme Stoddart. So much has been written and spoken about
83.
the yobbo beard bellies, the image of darts players, but look at these two guys. The profile of Raw, real tough, good name, Steve Raw. He's a raw-boned Geordie.
Yes, it's not too late for Dave Lannon to apply for the Poet Laureateship. We gather the money's not very good, but we are willing to give it a go.
100.
There, the low-angle shot on this amphitheatre of tungsten terpsichore as he finds the adjustment shot.
100. Graeme, you require 135.
Well, he really should look at bulls and 25s as part of his combination finishing here. Well, no, he hasn't. He's got the treble 17 with his next shot. 18, yes.
95.
Stoddart looking good then to level it up.
100. Graeme, you require 40.
Double top for Stoddart and all square in the second set. Looks like a useful marker. Now double 10.
Game shot in the second leg. Graeme Stoddart.
So there it is again, you can see it.
Third
There's
leg,
the target.
Steve, the
There's
throw
the
first.
shots, all square. The
Game
second
on.
set, both the first legs going with the throw. And Steve Raw with the darts. 22 grams silver shadow.
100.
His darts, whereas Stoddart here, again, same weight, 22 gram tungsten.
$26.
Well, that really is not one that Graeme Stoddart will keep in his video library.
83.
Stoddart and Raw took part of the world pairs.
140.
Couple of years back. And Graeme certainly carried Steve a couple of times. Good pals.
60.
Yes, after that glitch, 26. Stoddart back on the groove now, but he's still trailing and still hitting that treble.
Well, if he just goes with his normal accuracy, it's forcing Steve to go to his strongest part of his game, which is his heavy scoring.
$140.
Which leaves him a shot. And Stoddart has got to dig deep here. Desperately needs this treble with the third dart.
43. Steve, you require 118.
And that's what at the bottom of the board now,
So
double 19. Had to go for it because Stoddart's on a finish.
Graeme, you
On
require
152. It's a
152.
tall order. 152. Needs a treble with the first dart. And 132. Really should stay there.
100.
Yes. Now double
Steve, you
19.
require 38.
Will he go for it or will he opt in? It looks like he's going for it, and
Game
he's got
shot
it.
in the third leg. Steve Raw.
Right then. 2-1
Fourth
up.
leg.
Second
Ryan
set,
to
haven't lost
throw
the first.
Yeah, it's not a popular double 19, right at the bottom of the board. Normally much too low for most of these guys, although they're all targets come alike really to world-class players.
Slack darts there, start the leg from Graeme. It's the lie he doesn't like. This is the risky lie because of where the flight is in relation to the 60.
80. Thank you.
All three legs in this second set have gone with the throw. And that is the cover shot working well for Stoddart.
Yeah, Stoddart came on the scene about 4.5 years ago in a tournament in Newcastle.
140.
That was the Samson.
In fact, Sid, I seem to remember some years ago that Graeme actually played for Holland as an international.
That's right, he was in the Dutch national team for a while.
140.
Couldn't understand him in the tune, but they had no problem in Amsterdam. Needed that cover.
84.
Mind you, Sid, Waddell, the greatest living Geordie, and also popular and well known in Amsterdam, and indeed around the capitals everywhere where Sky beams its words and music and pictures.
41.
Sid Waddell is a watchword, and there is the lovely lady of Graeme Stoddart, who is beginning to look just a bit frayed.
We don't want to start a fight, Dave. It's Murray,
Of course, yeah. Steve
who's with
Raw.
Steve Raw. There's enough to
Graeme
get
require
chucked into the
160.
time with without that kind of mistake.
But all Geordie lasses are bonny, Sid.
Oh, well, slipped out. Slippery, dippery Dave.
140. Steve, you require 140.
By the way, he's going on the 60. Done. Certainly is now. Just below the wire.
100.
So Stoddart looking at
Graeme
double
requires
10
20.
to level it up and make this a very evenly matched set. Each of the
Graeme
legs
shot
has
the
gone
fourth
with the
leg.
throw,
Graeme Stoddart.
and Raw it is with the throw in this deciding leg, and Stoddart